These little blighters were very noisy last night. That exact thing. So, what we discovered this morning was this path here actually leads. So a couple of days ago I was saying to Sue we're going to get very, very close to the place where the Great Train Robbery happened, and there was a really good piece of canal for just sort of temporarily mooring up and going having a bit of a wander to the actual bridge where it all kicked off. And so I've had a screenshot of that point on my phone, and then I looked this morning and realised that we have ended up mooring for the evening at the exact spot. So yeah, and I knew that there was a path that led to the sorry, my voice is slightly stinted today, and that's the path.
Can't breathe too well, can you?
So yeah, what are the chances of that? So we're going to go and have a look at the bridge.
This was the little path I was going to go for an explore on yesterday before we knew where it led to, just because it looked interesting.
Yeah.
But as you'll have seen, events took a bit of a turn, and
We did.
there were other priorities to attend to. And it was funny this morning because Elliott came out and he went, "Oh no, I've left my trainers outside overnight." And I went, "Oh, did they get wet?"
It rained overnight, you see, and I suddenly realised I'd left my trainers out, and then yeah.
To be fair, they were dripping to start with, so I'm not sure a few spots of rain made all the difference. But
So I've taken them inside and just put them in the shower. They are actually drier than they were when after I'd been in the canal. So
your socks haven't fared very well. I think they're going in the bin.
yeah, I'll just get rid of those. Yeah. Yeah. Didn't have the most comfortable night's sleep. Yeah, it hurts a lot. What I hadn't realised at the time, until afterwards we got back to the boat and whatever, that I had actually hurt myself. I'd given myself a clonk. You thought I had,
yeah,
didn't you? When you saw it all happen, I thought I'd hit myself against the side of
I thought it was more your chest that hit, but it all happened so quickly that your brain can't just take it all in.
Yeah. So I've got two massive shiners, one on the inside back of my arm.
Got a matching sort of
Yeah, it's literally there. Like,
that's alright.
yeah, literally there. Don't.
Right, I won't touch it, I'll just point. One here and one here.
So yeah, we're going to take it easy today. We're not sure whether we're moving today or not. Last night we said we probably wouldn't, on the basis that this is a nice mooring spot, and moving today seemed fairly unfeasible given yeah, given my accident prone status. See, I just can't help but look up the canal and go, there's things to explore. And
yeah, but there's still me
I know,
there.
I know. Yeah,
We don't have to rush. This is.
we're not rushing.
We are a bit.
We're not rushing.
We are a bit. You had your jacket on, your shoes on, standing at the door, tapping your foot this morning. Are we going to the bridge? Anyway, come on, we're going to the bridge.
Right, this is the boss for the day, yeah. So I'm gonna hand camera over to boss. Okay.
Off we go.
Right, do it.
It's that little patch of bluebells in amongst all the nettles. Not gonna get any closer.
So green.
That's this gate, and somebody's quite pleased they don't have to climb over. This is a big gap you can just walk through here. Not sure how the chest would have fared with a climb over the gate.
God, cars feel so fast. Right, so we've popped out of the field and literally in front of us, oh sorry, there-ish, is the bridge. So I'm just going to take a wander and go and have a look. Oh, my hair's standing up on end, why? It's odd.
It is the scene of the crime.
Literally, yeah.
Actually, literally this time.
So the short story, I mean there'll be loads of people who know an awful lot about this, but for those that don't, back in the 1960s, 1963 I think it was, a gang of criminals planned a robbery. At the time it was the biggest cash value robbery in British history, and it all happened here. It was called the Great Train Robbery. A gang of about 15 people stole a little over, well, I think it was £2.6 million, the equivalent today of, I don't know, 50-60 million pounds. So huge amounts of money, and they stole it from a Royal Mail train which was on its way from Glasgow down to London Euston. And this train, the Royal Mail train, used to carry cash, some cash, usually about £300,000, but there'd just been a bank holiday and the train had over £2 million on it. So what they did was they stuffed a glove in one of the signal boxes, which would normally tell the train driver just to carry on, clear track, so that you couldn't see the carry-on light, and then rigged up a false light, or two false lights, one orange, just warning the train driver that actually there's something coming up, you might need to slow, and then a red light. So the train driver stopped, thinking, well, I've got to stop, which was an odd thing to do. Normally we wouldn't have had to stop, so it did seem like an odd thing to do. One of the guys who was with the train driver basically got out of the train to find out what was going on, and then the gang went onto the train, boshed the train driver over the head with a metal bar, which wasn't supposed to happen by all accounts, but that caused some long-term brain damage to the driver, sadly. It knocked him unconscious. The telephone lines had been disconnected. This all kicked off 3 o'clock in the morning. They disconnected cut all the phone lines so that anyone on the train couldn't call for help. Disconnected the first two carriages, which is where all the real money was. All the just random post was towards the back of the train. So disconnected the engine and the high value loot. And then the idea was they were going to drive where a bunch of Land Rovers were waiting and then unload the train. Unfortunately, the person who was with them, who was supposed to drive the train, couldn't do so when he actually looked at the controls. He'd been doing some training, etc., and thought, yeah, all trains are the same. Got onto this one and went, oh dear, don't know what I'm doing. So then they had to rouse the train driver, who they'd knocked unconscious, and force him to drive the train to where the Land Rovers were. They then created a chain of humans to pass the mailbags, the money, down into the Land Rovers, and then they escaped to a farm building where they laid low for a little while. Yeah, and it all happened here, Bridge 127. Yeah. Actually, I think I was going to say, in terms of cash money, I think it remained one of the biggest robberies until 2007, I think.
Gosh.
Yeah. Back in the 60s, so.
I thought it was gold.
No.
What am I thinking of then? Was there another train robbery where they took gold?
I think you're thinking of the Italian job, aren't you?
Yeah, maybe I'm getting a little mixed up.
You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. Yeah, and then there weren't any. Yeah, they were Minis, of course, not Land Rovers. But yeah, it happened here.
Let's go and have a look.
Let's have a look. There we go, Bridge 127. Scene of the Great Train Robbery.
I sort of half expected to see some like little plaque with a acknowledgement of what happened here, but I suppose it's not a nice thing to remember, but it is part of history, isn't it? So anyway, there isn't. It's just a bridge. You just wouldn't know unless you knew to come here. It just looks like any other rail bridge. So after us saying there was nothing here to tell you what went on, we've actually found this sign as we've walked back that calls it Train Robbers Bridge. There we go.
So given what happened here all those years ago, that's quite an amusing sign. Take it from the £2 million that they nicked. Always good when the boat's where you left it. Well, the sun's come out, it's really warm now, gosh. I think I'm going to put my trainers on the top of the boat because I would like to try and dry them out, because if this weather carries on at this temperature, wearing... Oh look, dragonfly. Oh, is he gonna... Is that going to come out?
Oh, you wouldn't see him the way he's flattened himself on that thing, would you?
Oh, he's off. His blue tail, that is so cool. Oh, stop there. Where are you, chappie? There he is. Ooh. My phone's focusing on the blades of grass. Don't want to scare him.
So I have managed to persuade Elliott not to move today. 2 reasons. Primarily because I know he'll overdo it if we start moving, and he's pretty sore on his ribs, so that's not going to help. And also a good chilling day. We've got a fantastic mooring spot, so we want to, I more than he, want to just have a chill day. But first we're going to get some jobs done. I'm going to get some hoovering done. So Elliott's just fired up the engine, so I've got some power to be able to do that. He's back on the roof, still trying to get rid of the duck and bird poo. Apparently it's stained the actually stained the paint when he's got the poo off. It's actually stained the paintwork, so I'm not quite sure what we're going to do about that. It was always the intention to give Josh a lick of paint, because we do want to change the colour, but it's not going to get done. It's not going to get done for a bit yet, I don't think. So we'll just have to crack on, do what he can, and in the meantime, get on with the hoovering. Remember the roll of carpet that Elliott thieved like ages ago? Here it is, still sitting, taking up space. His idea was he was just going to lay it here on the floor, and I did point out that if he did that it would become something of a slip hazard. So he thinks he's hidden it under here, so unless something happens pretty quick, that's going in the skip. But don't tell him that. We'll have to break the news gently.
Thank you. That's much better. This is the carnage from last night. It's still wet. That's, yeah, I should wring that out first, shouldn't I? Shorts will dry quickly because they're swimming shorts. They're designed to do that. Trainers over the top as well. Carnage. Absolute carnage. Right, we're going to have lunch on the towpath here because we can, and therefore should. Angel has her slippers on.
Tell me that's not recorded.
Yeah.
I'm not being recorded sitting eating my lunch. Someone's just got all excited because the weeds come floating by.
Yeah, look at that.
Don't bring that over the boat, will you? We have the good sense to go around.
This is the problem I had with the Kirklington tree.
You can walk around the back though here, can't you?
Yeah, look at this.
Wow, you like that, don't you?
Yeah. Yes.
Well done.
Yeah. Good people of the Grand Union, you can thank me later.
Go that way. If you walk round, you can. Don't need to bring it over, do you? You can do that without hurting you. Do you want me to go and grab it? The cyclist probably won't thank you for that.
Boom.
Happy with your work?
Yeah. Another man thing.
There's another weed coming. Ooh.
Did I look slightly creepy then? I think I did.
A little bit. No, you just look at them.
Well, they're lost, aren't they? It's legal. Hello, my angel.
Hello.
So I've just been. Pardon?
How are you?
I won't lie, I'm not
Not tip top.
not tip top.
Do you think you've done too much? You have done too much, there's no doubt. Do you think you've done too much?
Yeah, it is possible.
It's looking that way, isn't it? Because the idea of not moving today was so you could. Part of the reason why was so you could have a bit of a rest.
I know, but I feel miles better for knowing that Josh is partially clean. The engine bay. I'm conscious that footage-wise, I've not. It's just been a bit bitty. I can when it hurts, I can hardly think straight. It's yeah, not good. Anyway, so I was having a lie down, just to try and, I don't know, because I needed to lie down.
You said it's better when you stretch yourself out a bit. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it does feel better actually. It's but then you're just led in bed.
Yeah.
Uncomfortable.
Only able to
In a
think
bit
about
of
being
yeah.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, just like, oh my gosh, that hurts. Oh, why is it pressing on my yeah. Oh no.
What? Oh no, he's gonna sneeze. That is the funniest sounding sneeze I think I've ever heard.
Yeah, my sneezes don't usually sound like that, do they? That's.
They reckon if you do that, press on this boat.
Yeah, often works. Does that?
It?
Yeah. You know, in the morning when I get hay fevery and I don't want to wake you up, that's what I do. I end up. Yeah. Check this out. Oh yeah, look at those.
I didn't get his name.
Oh, so we get to name him.
But
is he a boat something?
His dog is called Smudge.
Okay, well he's Boat Bertie. Oh, it was also quite amusing when he started asking questions about the boat.
Oh.
Hilarious. Sue ran out of answers as soon as it got technical. What's that header tank there? No idea. It says, it says Sue.
No,
What engine have you got? A noisy one says Sue.
What is that?
A noisy one. Ow. Ah, I don't. Ow.
Anyway, I do know now it's the BLC Tempest.
How many cylinders is it got?
V8, baby.
It's not a V8, baby. That would be cool, actually.
4 cylinders.
It's 4 cylinders.
Yeah.
And how's that different to a... Is it air cooled or water cooled?
Air cooled. 50-50 chance.
50-50 chance.
I just figured you don't like water in there, that's why I thought it won't be water cooled. It's that stupid thing for?
Don't forget your wobble checks.
Water.
Mm.
Oh. Oil.
Yeah, but the water bit.
Water. Yeah, you just check there's no water lying around.
No.
Do you not?
No. You remember sticking your finger in the header tank?
Oh,
yeah.
Have
To
you
check
got
there's
one of
water.
those?
Yep.
Is that under the floor?
There is the header. There is, but there's one there. Header tank up here.
Oh, so you don't need to put your finger in there, you can see the level.
No, it's black and plastic. You do need to stick your finger in there.
This Chaplain's going to look us up later, he said.
Subscribe.
Please.
Boat Bertie.
Can't wag your finger and say subscribe.
Subscribe, Boat Bertie.
No, that's naughty.
I can't look back. What sort of colour plate is it?
I don't know, 'cause it's right overhead.
It's going to be quite cool driving the boat here in a little chair.
But apart from the fact you can't see where you're going.
Yeah, and you could be at the front. And
Go left a bit, right.
Yeah, and we'll get the radios going and just see how long it takes before we crash into something. Not very long, I wouldn't think. You're going left, so I'd move the boat left and you go, no, the other left. Go right then.
Have you had too much medication? Is that why you're rambling?
I haven't had enough medication yet.
You've got your medicine back.
Some stuff that I dug out of the engine bay. Nice. What even is this, dude? What? Come on, check this little guy out. You've seen one of these before? What is that?
Yeah, I have.
What is it?
I don't know, they're cool, aren't they? You get it from the side, so you can see his little...
How do you know it's he? He keeps coming towards me. So watch, I'll turn. Watch him turn. Look, he's coming straight towards me.
He's got a new friend to take over from the swamp.
Alright, so I'll turn this way, see what happens. Yeah!
So just so you know, this is where I had to climb to get this picture, which I know isn't all that spectacular, but